the best player in the league this year. And Tyreek agrees. Hill became the first wide receiver to be voted #1 in the annual rankings. The Dolphins star has never been shy about what he thinks. But take a listen to the confidence in his game.
Are you a better player than Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, for sure. I'm him.
What's the argument?
Pat is great. He's great, obviously, for his team. You feel me? Like, they won 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, yada, yada. They did their thing, right? Now, you look at me. 2 back-to-back, 1,700, Pro Bowl, All-Pro, this, that, all-decade, this, consistency. All that, man. You feel me? And I'm doing this at 5'8", I'm going to call myself shorter now, 5'7", about 190. Come on, man. A lot of people said I couldn't be a receiver, and here I am doing this.
I love that he made himself shorter because, usually guys make themselves taller. Shae, who's the best player in the NFL?
It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's not close. I appreciate Tyreek Hill's confidence in saying it's himself. What else was he going to say? He wasn't going to pass the buck and say, so-and-so is a better player than I am. And that's who he is. But it's math. You can't make someone that's not the quarterback the best player in the NFL. They touch the ball more than anybody else. How could Tyreek Hill be the best player if he doesn't have a quarterback that throws him the ball? He can no longer be the best player. It just absolutely does not make sense. And so while, again, I appreciate his confidence, and yes, his resume is very stacked. I'm happy he laid it out for all of us. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL because if you put him on any team in the NFL, he would elevate that team. He's won back-to-back Super Bowls, and there's really no argument about this. To me, this feels like a very easy answer.
All right, so it's story time with Matt. I think it was 2015, 2016, because this is SportsCenter crossover. SportsCenter on the road was in Clemson for the big game between Louisville and Clemson. It was Deshaun Watson and it was Lamar Jackson. And on that night, Lamar Jackson was the best player on the football field. Forget quarterback, forget it, he was the best player on the football field. Take that now to the NFL. I don't care, receiver, running back, anybody on the field, Lamar Jackson is the best player on the field that just so happens can throw a football 60 yards while he's doing it. And so while Patrick Mahomes is great with his feet, he's an MVP, he wins Super Bowls, he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but in terms of best player, there isn't a guy on his team in this league that is the best player, period, on the team that can sling a football 60-plus yards on the run. That's why, to me, Hawk, Lamar Jackson, if we're talking about player, it's him. It's not even close.
I don't hate any of the arguments. I don't even hate Tyreek Hill's argument because pound for pound, what he does at his size has never been done in NFL history. As somebody who is very close to his size that has tried that and did not even come close, trust me, I know. And I also love Lamar Jackson. And I actually have an argument that actually works in favor of Lamar Jackson a little bit. But the reality is how good a player is also predicated on who is their coach. And Lamar Jackson doesn't have and hasn't had his best version of an offensive coach to fit his skill set in the NFL, where Tyreek with Mike McDaniel is a wide receiver heaven. McCaffrey with Shanahan, a running back heaven. And Patrick Mahomes with Andy is a quarterback's heaven. And when you put Coach Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes together, there is no better player in the NFL than Patrick Mahomes because the Super Bowls matter, the numbers matter, the MVPs matter. So until Lamar Jackson gets that, I got to go with Patrick Mahomes because the proof is in the pudding.
I will say, I don't necessarily disagree with Lamar Jackson. I more disagree with the Tyreek Hill argument. And I'm not saying what he doesn't do is impressive. Hawk would know more so than us because he played the position. But I just don't think a skill position player outside of quarterback could claim to be the best player in the entire National Football League because, again, they don't touch the ball as often as a quarterback. So I don't hate the Lamar Jackson argument. I more just disagree with Tyreek Hill.
I'm just curious, too, like, Hawk, when you look at a guy like Tyreek Hill, I mean, first of all, question on that. Like, he made himself shorter. What would you do in that situation if people were asking the height thing?
Hawk's 5'7".
You know what? That's a funny story. So, actually, I was listed at 5'8" all the way up until I signed with the Browns. And then that year, I was like, hey, I want to change my height to, like, the true 5'7" it is. Because at that time, when I did that, I was the receiver in NFL history who had the most yards for any receiver under 5'8". And so I'm like, at 5'8", I have no record. At 5'7", I'm good. It's since been broken.
Smart.
But it always works in our favor if we are trying to give ourselves accolades. So I understand Tyreek to the fullest there.
That's why Tyreek is
truth
doing
comes
that.
out,
I love that. I love that.
Business decision.
That's smart.
Here's what you always know about a wide receiver in the NFL. I work with one on Saturdays all day, and Joey Galloway. No matter what, the receiver diva is going to come out at some point.
Yeah.
They could be as level-headed as you want. At some point, the receiver is coming out of the receiver.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you this, Matt, when it comes to Lamar Jackson specifically.
Yeah.
You don't care about accolades. You don't care about Super Bowl wins. You just care about the athlete himself.
No, the question was the best player.
Right.
Like if I'm taking a guy, just any given time on the field, he's the best player and athlete on the field.
Athlete.
I mean,
Yeah.
I will say for Lamar Jackson, now I know I took Patrick Mahomes and I said it's not close, but like that entire offense, that entire team has essentially been built around one person.
Let me ask you this.
No other team in the NFL has really done
Is
that.
Patrick Mahomes capable of receiving a kickoff and taking it 85 yards?
No.
Lamar Jackson.
Nor would I want him to do
Lamar
that.
Jackson.
Athletics.
I think
Athleticism.
Lamar Jackson could be the best at his position at any
Right.
skill position.
Okay. That makes
Fair.
sense.
That makes sense.
We'll leave that conversation
Hawk's
there.
like,
I love
yep,
that Hawk.
okay, sure.
I love that Hawk. Just explain why people want to be shorter. That makes sense.
I know.
All right.
By the way, this is an angle thing. I'm really 5'10".
Bears fans got to see their #1 overall pick on Saturday, and it was a pretty good showing. In a brief appearance, Caleb Williams went 4 for 7 for 95 yards with a 101.8 passer rating and 2 drives that ended in 2 field goals. Here's Caleb on what Bears fans should expect.
You're giving Bears fans permission to be excited right now?
I mean, Bears won, you know? Why not?
Short and sweet there from Caleb.
What a great question by Patrick Finley.
I almost, by the way, was going to say Shae and Bears fans in the lead-in, but I felt like we shouldn't make you seem like a homer in this one. From the jump.
Just now?
But I'm going to start with you on this one. Will Caleb lead the Bears to the playoffs?
Yes. I don't want to say yes, but I'm going to say yes because this does pain my heart a little bit to like set myself up for heartbreak. But nonetheless, I said this earlier. This is the most excited Chicago has been about a prospect, let alone a quarterback, let alone a team, defense, offensive line, weapons. Even I'll go as far as the head coach at this point. Like, I will say this is the most excited we've been about a complete roster in a really long time. Chicago is one of the rare instances here where they won last year, 5 out of their last 8 games. We're trending in the right direction in terms of protection and their own line. Their defense improved tremendously over the last 5 weeks, and yet still wound up with the #1 overall pick. And as Matt Barrie said last block, a generational talent in Caleb Williams, who is now under center in Chicago. In addition to that, during the offseason, I don't need to go through it, but they loaded up and took Rome Odunze, who now has had a chance to be in Chicago with his quarterback, learn together, understand each other, and build chemistry. And we saw that on Hard Knocks as well. And so for me, I think it's going to be hard for Chicago to mess this up because of the plethora of talent they have around them, the way they drafted and set up this offseason. If Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears can't find a way to at least have a winning record and hopefully make the postseason, if it's a wild card, great. I feel like it will be a failure in Chicago, Hawk or Barrie.
Yeah, look, failure, yes, because of all the hype put around it. But can I take this big picture with Caleb and Jaden Daniels and all these rookie quarterbacks? I think one of the most asinine things in sports today and in the NFL is the pressure that is placed on rookie quarterbacks to be an instant fix to your organization. Caleb Williams was just playing against Pac-12 defenses last year, and now we assume that he's going to lead the Bears to the playoffs. This doesn't happen overnight. C.J. Stroud is an outlier.
Yeah.
He's an outlier.
Fair.
Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant, playoffs first. He's an outlier.
A surprise.
The fact that NFL people believe that these rookies, some of them 20 starts in college, playing against mediocre defenses, are going to come to the highest level of football in the world and just be the quick fix, it puts unnecessary pressure on a rookie quarterback who shouldn't have to deal with it his first year. It puts way too much pressure on the GM and the head coach. Well, why? Because they took this player in the top 5, and his job is to lead your team to the promised land. It doesn't happen that way. So the conversations around rookie quarterbacks taking their teams to the NFL, it's not fair, and it shouldn't be expected in year 1. I get it. Caleb's got everything around him and needs to succeed. But that's exactly why if it doesn't happen, it's going to be looked at as a failure, and he shouldn't have to deal with that as a rookie.
I will say I don't love that the Bears don't have a veteran quarterback in the room. Tyson Bagent, I think, has to be that at this point because he's been in the league obviously longer. But we saw it with the Jets. We've seen it with multiple franchises. Again, back to your CJ, he is an outlier. I would love for the Bears to have some sort of veteran presence in the quarterback room to help them along with the immense pressure. What do you think, Hawk?
I would love to say we put too much pressure on rookie quarterbacks, and 99 times out of 100, I would be like, you are exactly right. But I got to follow my eyes on this one. Caleb Williams looks different.
Let's go!
That's a fact. And I, as much as I understand that there is going to be this level of expectation like we've never seen, it's because he is so talented on a football field. And also, he invites that expectations. He does it himself. Even if you look at things as simple as the contract negotiation, him asking for unprecedented things because he's confident that he's an unprecedented player. When I watched that preseason game, and there were a bunch of rookies who were great in their preseason debuts, it looked different for Caleb Williams. He didn't look like a rookie in his first NFL game. He looked like a veteran. It wasn't because of the stats. It wasn't because of the completions. It was because of his decision-making. And once he got to read 3 and 4 in a play, he looked cool, calm, and collected, and he found the answers to the test with ease. And that is not a matter of brain. That is a matter of vein. It is what is in him. And if he can play at that level, the Chicago Bears will absolutely be a playoff team in year one, and it should be the case.
Hawk, you didn't answer the question. Are the Bears making the playoffs or not?
No, they're not making the playoffs. Hawk, because I'm with Bart Scott in hour number 1, I think towards the end of the season, there's that wall and that line where rookies hit. And I'm not saying it's a talent issue with Caleb, and I think Caleb could be the outlier in this situation. But with rookie, like medical students are all talented. You're not giving them a scalpel to do the surgery unless they have some experience and they learn what's going on. NFL quarterback isn't a position you just roll out and play. And so to think that like the Jaden Daniels, I get it. He played in the SEC. He had Malik Neighbors. He had great receiver. The fact that we are now sitting here talking about the Commanders and we're talking about the Bears and we're talking about these teams that draft their rookie quarterbacks now being playoff teams, I just don't think that's realistic.
I think in recent memory, I think C.J. Stroud has kind of paved the way for that. I don't know that we'd be having this exaggerated of a conversation if it wasn't for him. Because last year, first-year head coach and a rookie quarterback. Right. And sure, maybe in a watered-down division because of injuries, Anthony Richardson and whatnot. Fine. But I do think he's kind of paved the way, being like, now the difference is here, he wasn't the number 1 overall pick. Close behind, but not the number 1 overall pick. There's a different kind of target on Caleb's back. And he's playing in a very hard division. So I don't know, but I do think...
Tell the people our bet.
Barrie and I are going to have a bet. Hawk, Hawk's in studio with us sometimes during the NFL season. If the Bears make the postseason, Matt Barrie is going to paint his nails like Caleb Williams and wear it for at least 3 SportsCenter appearances. If they don't make the postseason...
If the Bears don't make the postseason, Shae, at the beginning and end of every SportsCenter for 3 shows, has to say that Matt Barrie is the smartest man at the network, and he is 100% right every single time.
I'm willing to take this bet, okay?
This is beautiful.
Hey.
Thank you.